Mistakes women make when men pull away. Hey guys, my name is Danny and I'm your life and relationship coach. And as the title of the video says, we are talking about common mistakes that women make when a man starts to pull away. I know, again, this is variable depending on everybody's situation and circumstance. But at the end of the day, the reason why I compiled these three common mistakes is because it's something that I see quite frequently in my one-on-one coaching sessions, right? It's a trend that I happen to see, and I wanted to provide you with the information so that you feel prepared, so that you feel like you have some kind of information, some kind of knowledge that you can utilize and really just kind of give you a heads up, a head start in this entire thing, right? So the first thing that I have noticed, and one of the major mistakes that women make when a guy starts to pull away, is that you become clingy and you become needy. And believe me when I tell you, I completely understand, right? Because a lot of this process is counterintuitive. So if somebody is pulling away from you, your natural inclination, your natural instinct is going to be to want to pull them back in. So what happens? We dig our nails in deeper and we try to convince them. We try to really hold on as tight as we possibly can because we feel that that is the only way that we can keep them from pulling away. But understand that what that actually does is it pushes him further and further and further away. Because oftentimes, right, men have a tendency of prioritizing their independence, their freedom. And when they start to feel like that is being taken away, when they start to feel like they are being suffocated in a relationship, they will pull away even harder. So that need to hold on to them, that clinginess and that needy behavior actually comes from a place of insecurity. It comes from a place of lack of self-esteem and lack of self-confidence. And a majority of the times, this is something that ends up developing throughout the relationship. And you may not even be consciously aware of it. It may be at a subconscious level. Because if you think about it, when you originally got together, right, the reason for why you were attracted to each other, the reason for why he was attracted to you was because you were your own independent person, right? Maybe you were, striving for your own goals, you were doing your own thing, you were energetic, you were bubbly, you were happy, you were confident in yourself, and all of those things attracted him to you. And what happens a lot of the times in a relationship is that we start to lose a sense of self-identity. And when you start to lose your self-identity, that is when you start to become insecure, and that insecurity can result in you becoming clingy and needy. So if he starts to pull away, of course, it's something to be concerned about. Of course, it's a red flag. I'm not telling you to not care and to ignore it and to just kind of continue on with your day, but there are ways in which you can handle that more productively, more efficiently, and just in a more positive way, right? But if you start to hold on tight, if you start to cling, if you start to become incredibly needy, it's going to have the reverse effect. Number two, people have a tendency of taking things personally, right? And it's understandable. I get it, right? If your partner starts to detach, if he starts to pull away, it's difficult to not take that personally, right? It almost feels like a personal attack. What did I do? What am I doing wrong? Why am I not his priority anymore? Why is he not attracted to me anymore? Why is he pulling away? Why doesn't he want to be around me? So we ask ourselves the why, but we usually have a tendency of looking at it like it's our fault and coming from a place of me, I. There are other factors that may be involved here, right? So external stressors, he may be incredibly stressed with work. He may have some familial issues that he's working through. He may have had a falling out with a friend. He may not be satisfied with his life and where he's at. Maybe he hasn't achieved the things that he wants to achieve at this point in his life. And I'll be honest with you, ladies, men have issues multitasking, right? We have issues processing our emotions and our feelings. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we have been classically conditioned to not be vulnerable, to not show emotion, to not cry, to be the man of the house, to be the protector, to be the provider. So when we are going through things emotionally in our lives, we have a tendency of shutting down because that is how we can cope. That is how we manage and we compartmentalize. Now, I am not saying that is the case with everybody. I'm not saying that is the case with every man, right? Every person is different. It's not necessarily just a gender thing, but what I have found and what I see consistently is men have a tendency of not communicating their emotions and their feelings the right way or even at all. So naturally, you're going to take it personally if you don't know what's going on, if you don't have all the facts, if he's not informing you as to what is happening when it's happening in real time. So take into consideration that there also may be other factors that are involved here. The third thing is overreacting, right? One of the most common things that I see in my one-on-one coaching sessions is overreacting. And usually when we overreact to something, it's because we don't have all the information, right? We don't have all the facts. And like I said, men have a tendency of not being able to communicate effectively. So if you feel like there's a lot being left to the imagination, of course your mind is going to run wild. Of course you're going to create these theoreticals in your head. You're going to assume a lot of things. And when you do that, what ends up happening is you allow your emotions to take control of the vehicle. And when your emotions take control, we have a tendency of making irrational decisions. And when we make irrational decisions, we end up fighting with our partner, which only further pushes them away. So trying your best to not overreact to a situation, trying your best to actually have a clarifying conversation. And even if your partner, it's like pulling teeth, right? Trying to get information for him, at least you are actively trying to gather some information so you can actually create a more realistic scenario in your mind of what is going on so that you don't overreact. But again, really kind of controlling your emotions and not allowing yourself to get that emotionally heightened and overstimulated that you start to cry, you start to, scream, yell, all of those types of things. None of that is going to help your situation. So try to avoid overreacting. Number 4, making it all about yourself. This is another one that I commonly see all the time, and it's an individual who has a tendency of taking the role of victim. Now, I want to be very clear. There are absolutely individuals who are victims in situations. We're talking about domestic abuse. We're talking about verbal abuse, emotional abuse. There are specific definitions in regards to victim. When I utilize the word victim in these situations, what I mean is that you are turning the entire situation and making it all about you. And you want your partner to feel bad for you. You want your partner to empathize with you, to sympathize with you, but it may not necessarily be anything that is completely that is necessary to take on that role and identify as a victim, right? Again, this kind of piggybacks off of the overreacting. If your partner is pulling away, if they are emotionally disconnecting, the first thing that you should do is try to find out why. Why are they disconnecting? Is it something that you have done in the relationship? Is it something that's going on with them internally, emotionally, that they are trying to deal with and process and cope? Instead of immediately jumping to the woe is me, why is this happening to me? This always happens to me. Men always have a tendency of disconnecting from me. Am I not good enough? Am I not pretty enough? Am I not smart enough? The second we get into that mindset, right, into that headspace, it spirals out of control. And what ends up happening is that you create a self-fulfilling prophecy for yourself and you start to sabotage the relationship on a subconscious level. So consciously make the decision to not go down that route, to not allow the situation to be all about you. Now, there are going to be periods of time where, in reality, he is doing something towards you that isn't fair. And I get that 100%. And in those instances, it is okay to defend yourself and it is okay to express the way you are feeling and let them know that that's not okay and set a healthy boundary. But as long as you are setting those boundaries correctly and you are approaching the situation from a healthy place and a positive place, then fine, that's totally okay. But I just want you to try to avoid getting into that headspace where you are victimizing yourself. The last and final one that I see so frequently is exercising the silent treatment. The silent treatment does not work. And there is a difference between a no contact period, right, and exercising silent treatment. When you are no longer in a relationship with somebody or you are in the middle of a separation, you're in the middle of a divorce, of course, we ask you to utilize a no contact period because that is a time where you can self-evaluate, self-reflect, reinvest in yourself, and reevaluate and reinvent, right? That's really what that process is about. Allowing you space and time to process your emotions. But if you are utilizing silence, if you are utilizing space and you're weaponizing it, it's not going to have a positive result. So it would be irrational and unrealistic for you to expect that if you use the silent treatment against your husband, against your boyfriend, that it's going to have a positive outcome. Of course it's not. What you're actually doing is you're severing the lines of communication, which is not productive at all. And most of the times, the reason for why you're utilizing the silent treatment is because you're upset, you're angry, you're mad, and you want to punish your significant other. It's not going to work. And flip the script, right? What if your partner was giving you the silent treatment? It would create this feeling of insecurity, and your mind would start to run wild. So think about it in that regard. If you are using silence, if you are using time and space apart for the appropriate reasons at the right time in the right circumstance, highly recommended. But if you're using it as a weapon because you would like to inflict pain or hurt or incite some kind of emotional response from your partner, it's not productive and you should not do it. If you related to this video, if you like this video, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. I love to have open dialogue with people. So if this is something that, again, you're related to, maybe you have an opinion about it, you have some questions, I would love for you to leave your comments down below. I look at all of them and I try to answer as many as I possibly can. If you just want more information and you want more detail, right, you can visit us at www.withmyexagain.com. And, there's a plethora of different articles and videos and blogs that you can take a look at on that website. If you would like to book a one-on-one coaching session as well, you can book with either myself or any of the other amazing coaches that we have on the team if you just feel like you need a little bit more support, because that is what we are here for. We are here to support you and to help you through this process. Again, my name is Danny. I'm your life and relationship coach. I hope you guys are staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you guys soon.